All right. Yep. Drop your favorite Thanksgiving food in the chat while we give everybody an extra 5 minutes to get in because uh, we had some trouble here.
Hello.
I'm a superstitious African. Black cats are bad luck.
All right. Enough. It's enough. It's enough. Mac and cheese, ham. Kate says hi, Elmo.
Hi, Kate.
She says hi back. So people saying they don't celebrate. So there was I know that I think Monas, I'm not sure about Ashmead, but I know Monas, you had Diwali this last weekend. There was a lot of food going on then too, right? So you could drop that. And it was very appropriate. I don't know if you guys saw the text that I sent you guys, but I was thinking about you, Monas, because you had said that you were going to be shooting fireworks for Diwali. And I was thinking about you because the meteor shower that peaks, and I think it peaks tonight or tomorrow night, I'm not sure, but I went out and watched the meteor showers over the weekend, and they were fantastic. They were great. They were exceptional. We've got a dark moon this year, which is means that like a new moon, it's dark, you can't see the moonlight, and so the meteors are exceptional. So if you guys do drive, I recommend getting outside of class. We've got 3 more minutes. I've got greens and cornbread, pumpkin pie, ham, mac and cheese, pumpkin cheesecake. I actually made that 2 weeks ago, and it was pretty good. Pumpkin cheesecake is pretty good. Dressing is, there's a woman after my own heart. Dressing. I am a dressing man. So Randy, do you have, is it cornbread dressing or white bread dressing? What kind of dressing do you like? Honey baked ham, George. Biscuits and cornbread. I've never had it with biscuits before, but I use cornbread in mine. Okay, biscuits and cornbread. Nice. I also like to put oysters in mine. I'm a big oyster fan, so I love to put not a whole lot of oysters, but I like to take maybe 12 and a half, like, 18 oysters or so, and put them into my cornbread dressing as well. I love Thanksgiving. Nobody owes anybody anything except a good time. Acknowledge and eat and enjoy. But we're not going to visit. We're not going to meet with family this year. We're going to keep it just within our nuclear family. My 2 children and Patty and myself are going to enjoy Thanksgiving together. It'll be nice. I'll lay on the couch and love them, and we'll all love on each other. I can't wait. I cannot wait to have all 3 of my favorite people together with me at the same time. It is my favorite day of the year. Thanksgiving. 1 more minute. What else do we have from you guys? Favorites. Honey baked ham, huh, George? I've never made a honey baked ham. I've made them with brown sugar, but I've never made them with honey. But it's good. Maybe I'll try that this year. Is it that you guys don't have these, or like I'm surprised there's not a whole lot of usually there's a lot of Thanksgiving tamales that I hear people talk about. Mashed potatoes, okay, mashed potatoes aren't bad. Do you put anything in your mashed potatoes, kid? Chives or cheese, or just straight up mashed potatoes with milk and butter? You don't know? You don't know how to cook it? Oh no, that's terrible. Well, just tell me one more thing. Is the skin on, or are they just creamy, or do they have the skin in them on your mashed potatoes? No skin. Oh man, I love to have the skin on. All right, so I'm gonna open it now. Some of you guys are probably able to get it into Schoology. Some of you guys are probably not. I think there was a bit of an issue with this. I want to just kind of get Q&A. Do you guys have any questions? We have only 10 class days left before your project is due. So what questions do you have? And I'm going to open it to you guys until 8:51, and I'll take your questions. I can see, because I can go on and I can always open and see whether you've opened the documents or not. I can see about 80% of you guys have gone and opened the documents so far. And I'm getting several private questions. Could you guys just come on your mic and ask those out loud so other people could hear them? Just come on mic and say something. That way everybody can hear those.
A question I had is, like, do we go over all of the questions like during the video, or just a question per person?
Yes, you go over all the questions on the video, all the questions on the video. So I think, Randy, are you trying to get Schoology through your phone? It's not really through her phone. Some people are trying to go through their phone. Yeah, you go through all four of those questions. The first four questions are really kind of basic questions that are specific to endosymbiosis. And if it were me and I were you guys and I was a group, what I would do is, some of them are easier than others. So let's say that you guys are meeting and you're saying, hey, who's going to take which part of the questions, or which of these questions? Some people who may be kind of struggling with this may want to take like question 1 or 2, and they're pretty straightforward. Like, what are 5 similarities between chloroplasts and mitochondria? I mean, those are just identifying similarity questions. They're not hard. You can do that, and you can literally just look that up and find out all those things. Now, what you'd have to do is try to get some images that you can, post and counter one another. But that still wouldn't be a very difficult thing to do. So you might want to just break that work into comfort level, like who's most comfortable with what part. Remember, everybody's going to be getting, you'll get a holistic grade, and then there's going to be scales up and down based on your feedback that you guys give. And that feedback that you give is completely, anonymous. No one will see that feedback unless you want to give it to them. But yes, all for those first 4, and then you have the 5th and 6th questions are options. You take one of the 2 of those. You either take the first or you take the second. Meaning number 5 or number 6. Okay, that's a good question though, Ashmeet. You still got 3 minutes, so I can take questions about this.
For the question where it says, let's see how divergent you can get, what exactly do you mean?
Well, okay, so I don't know, the worst and greatest thing that ever happened in my life was the endosymbiosis, that theory. When I learned about this theory, I came home and I cried for 3 days. I came home and I would sit in the same chair and I cried and cried and cried. I'll tell you guys more about it after it's over. You may or not figure out why you're doing this. But it was earth moving for me. And it was a really, really difficult, it's like I had a paradigm shift in the way I saw the world whenever I come to understand this theory. It was really, really difficult for me to accept it, because science theories are facts. When I'm talking about how divergent you guys can think, because of this theory, you'll see the result of it. Once you read about it, you'll see the result of this theory and what happened as a result of it. And by that, you guys can take it any kind of way that you would want, as long as it's based in some sort of fact, right? Like nothing in this room that I'm looking at would have ever happened, because without the endosymbiosis, we would not have enough ATP generated to be multicellular or carry out any active transport functions, nothing. We would not have enough energy to do anything. You would have never loved your mother. You would have never literally been born. It would have been impossible. Everything would be unicellular. So there's a lot of ways that you could take it. For me, it was completely earth shattering and earth moving. And I literally cried for 3 days, and I kept that chair until finally that I freaked out in for days on end. And until my wife made us sell it in the garage sale, and I was brokenhearted. Mr. Andrews thinks it was a good idea. He says it was good to let go of that chair. But it was hard. So divergent, let's just see where you guys take it. That's a good question. I can take one more question and we're going to end on today's lesson. How many points can you gain or lose on the pier? You can gain up to 10 and you can lose up to 20. If you get a 1, if your overall average is a 1, you lose 20. Overall average is a 2, you lose 10. If you're at a 3, you stay the same. If you get a 4, you get extra 10 points. Okay, I'm going to start. If that was all, if you guys have any other questions, you guys can you give me a call. You guys, most of you guys have my phone number, and you can give me a call. We can talk about it at home, or you can text me through the line, and we can talk from there. But I want you guys to come on today and really all the classes and speak, unless your mic is terrible and the sound is bad. It's going to be important that we all talk as we go through these lessons. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get anywhere. I'm not just casual, just kind of BSing. Is it going to be okay? Or just listening. Is it going to be okay? We're not going to get where we need to be in that way. All right, so today, you guys set a timer. If I go more than 20 minutes, you guys can universally come on the mic and say, "Shut up, Mr. Povin, sick of listening to you." And say it just like that so that I get the point. So I'm not going to talk more than 20 minutes today. All right, we're going to go through photosynthesis. So if you do not have access to Schoology, whenever we work on the guided practice, I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and that way you can open up the document. If you do have Schoology, I want you guys to go to Schoology and open up your own document. But we are going to work through some things. And do please pay attention. And when you have a question, come and ask. This is a straightforward unit, but it's also a very meticulous, detailed unit that you do have to pay attention to. Taking it casually is a train wreck. So you do need to really pay attention to this. Today's going to be easy. It'll get a little more in detail next class, but today will be some detail, so you do need to pay attention. All right, so one thing that is important is that you do know the types of energy in photosynthesis. One easy question that you can almost always get on the IB exam is that they're always going to ask you what types of energy are converted here. Remember, the first law of thermodynamics is energy can't be created or destroyed, so always watch out for them trying to screw with you when they're talking about making energy or synthesizing energy. That's not possible. You're always looking for the word convert. So we're converting light into chemical energy, solar energy into chemical energy. So light energy into chemical energy. That is the type of energy that is going to be converted in this situation. So overall, this is going to be a redox reaction because we're going from less organized to more organized as well. Plants are autotrophs, and they're autotrophs. Auto means self, troph means feeding. And I know that was one of your vocabulary words, heterotroph and autotroph for the summer, but autotroph is pretty straightforward. Auto is self. So like think about like an automobile, how they figured out how to call an automobile is all automobiles or all forms of transportation were driven by animals in terms of land. So like we had, if you were moving over land, you had an animal pulling you to do this, like horses or mules or cattle or some sort of beast or burden was pulling a cart. When they had an automobile roll off, they were like, "Oh my God, what are we going to call this?" And somebody goes, "Why don't we call it automobile?" You're mobile by yourself. You don't need an animal to pull you. So if you're trying to think about this word and that helps, that might be something that you can reference and think, "Oh, okay, yeah, auto means self." So self-feeding. Producers are examples. So if we're thinking about these in food chains, we would say producers. Producers and autotrophs are pretty much synonymous for one another. They're synonyms for one another. These are words that practically mean the same thing. All producers are going to be autotrophs of some sort. Plants are a little different though, in that they're photoautotrophs. So they're going to be autotrophs, self-feeding organisms that use light to make food, light to make chemical energy. They're going to be using water and carbon dioxide, two waste products that we release in our urine and in our breath, and they convert that back into sugar. So every piece of sugar you've ever eaten in your entire life was at some point something else's breath. which is pretty fantastic if you think about it. Potentially urine as well. And photosynthesis, again, there's going to be lots of different photoautotrophs. Photosynthesis is not unique to just plants. There are going to be protists that are going to be involved that can do this. There's bacteria that can do this as well. Bacteria are the ones who started this whole process. And so they were the first to do it. But you do owe your life to all these organisms. These organisms, without these organisms, life would have never evolved on our planet into the forms that it is now. They gave us oxygen for the first time in the atmosphere, and that revolutionized the planet, really. They took a lot of the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and allowed the Earth to finally get to the temperature that it needed to be for an explosion of life. So we really do need to pay homage to these organisms. Heterotrophs are us. We're heterotrophs. Hetero is going to mean different. Like if you're heterosexual, you like the opposite sex, a different sex. In this case, again, troph means feeding, so different feeders feeding on something, other organisms. So consumer is going to be an example, what would be the other synonymous word for this. If you're a consumer, you are a heterotroph. There are some organisms that are both, but we're going to steer clear of that for the moment. We'll just stick with this basic. Heterotrophs are going to be organisms that eat other organisms, that are consumers of other organisms. Again, photosynthesis is converting light energy to chemical energy. You've got to remember this because they're going to try to trick you on this question over and over and over. There are some places where this actually occurs, and I'm going to review this because this will be important, and I'll explain why it's important in a second. I do not feel terrible. I just had this bit of a cough, which is kind of frightening today. So I have this cross section of the leaf. The leaf is where this photosynthesis is going to be taking place. The leaves are like little, photocells, where you have these. Some people have these little dishes on their house that they can use, and they can convert these photocells that they will use to synthesize electricity within their house. But that's really the solar panels for a plant. This is occurring in the leaves, not in the branches unless you're a cactus, but it's occurring in the leaf. Within the leaves, you can see that there's an arrangement, and we'll get really into detail when we get into plants and animals later. But right now, in the leaves, you can see that there are cells that do have these little green dots, and these green dots are going to be chloroplasts, these organelles within them. Do want to draw your attention down here to the bottom. These are holes in the leaf. Remember, you are producing oxygen. Oxygen has to get out. You do need CO2. And these little holes are called stomata, and they are these holes where gases can get in and out. There's a problem with these. Remember, evolution is not perfect. You can also, plants can lose water. Water is lost through these pores as well. But the waste product of oxygen gets out, CO2 gets in, and then the water, for this equation, is coming from the veins, and of course that's going to be coming from the roots. But in this case, you do need to remember these holes, because water can escape from those as well. And I'll show you why I need to say that in just a second. I'm going to drill down, look at a chloroplast. So we're not in just any cell. We're in the organelle now. We're looking at chloroplasts in particular. So there's a bunch of these little chloroplasts in every one of these cells that are in the leaves. You can tell they do have some features. They have two membranes. There's an outer membrane and inner membrane. And that's going to be important for your presentation. And then these little bitty stacks. There's these little things that look like pancakes, and these all of these stacked together. Each one of these is a thylakoid, but stacks are called grana. And this is important. You're going to be tested on this, including on today's exit ticket. These grana are where these stacks of thylakoid are where these reactions with the light take place. This is where there's something called chlorophyll, a pigment called chlorophyll, and that is going to be in these grana, in these little stacks of pancakes. The area outside of that is called stroma, and the stroma is like the cytoplasm. So if you think about cytoplasm in a cell, analogous to that would be the stroma in the chloroplast itself. And but where all these light reactions occur, where photosynthesis is actually occurring with light, that's happening with the thylakoids in the grana. And I'll give you another image of this and a model of this in just a moment. So when you look at this equation is pretty straightforward. I've got 6 CO2s going in, 12 waters going into this reaction. So 6 carbon dioxides, 12 molecules of water, light, and this arrow means reaction. Out of this, you see that you've got the glucose. This is the glucose. This is 6H12O6. This is my glucose, and then I have oxygen coming out. So there's 6 oxygens coming out. Typically, when you were taught in 9th grade, you were not taught about these waters that are escaping. These waters that are escaping here, these are not used. You only use half of the water that goes in is actually incorporated into these products. The other water escapes through those stomata. There is other water that is escaping from the stomata. Generally, I'm going to ignore this because it's just a waste product that's never used in the reaction. But what I mean by that, I'm going to go back and show you, water's coming out of this as well. Water will escape. It's just think of it like a lubricant. It's going to be not used in a reaction, but allowing the reaction to occur. Some of the water is going to escape and not be utilized. So that's very costly to a plant. It's very, very costly to a plant. They do not want to lose water, but yet they lose half of the water they take in. It just escapes through those little pores. So let's look at this reaction in detail. So again, here are my reactants. They're going in, carbon dioxide and water. Half of that water is getting lost. Nothing occurs with it. It just gets lost. Pay attention to where the hydrogens go. The hydrogens are where the action really is. The hydrogen are getting donated over here to this carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is going to be reduced. It's not oxidized, it's reduced. It's getting more organized. So all 6 of these carbon molecules, I'm going from 6 to 1, and I'm taking all these hydrogens, at least half of these hydrogens, because there's 24 hydrogens, 2 times 12 is 24. 12 of those hydrogens are getting donated to this CO2 to make it sugar. So this is just basically something's breath and water, and it gets turned into sugar, which is the basis of our food chain. And then what's left over, when we split the water, is oxygen. Oxygen comes out and we breathe that. So this is fundamental to just your existence. Without this equation, everything would die. I don't think I've heard that if we stopped photosynthesis, we'd have about 6 years left on the planet before everything started to die completely. We wouldn't have enough oxygen or food. We'd suffocate and starve to death. Okay, going back again, water is oxidized. Why that? Remember, oxidation is lost. It's being broken down. And again, here's my water. It's being broken down into oxygen. The hydrogen's going over to the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is reduced. It is getting more organized. Water is getting broken down. Carbon dioxide is being reduced into a sugar. It's being more organized. Reduction is gained. There are 2 different parts of photosynthesis. There are 2 different reactions. There's the light reactions and the Calvin cycle. And again, these notes are already attached there, and I can send these to you guys in an email. If you can't get into Schoology today, say, hey, can you send me these notes? I will. Hopefully you'll be able to get into Schoology, and it won't be a big problem. But if you do need it, I could put them there as well. The light reactions, we're going to look at those in detail, as well as the Calvin cycle. Again, where the light is broken or used to break water down, that is the grana, those are the thylakoids. And we're going to split water. It's hydrolysis. We're going to split water. We release oxygen. We're going to produce ATP and NADPH. And those were the 2 terms I asked you guys to define over the weekend that were in the oral rig assignment. Some of you guys did not open that. If you haven't, you want to go back and get that document and get those terms. You need to get those terms completely understood and defined so that you know what you're doing in this unit. Without doing that, the front work, it's going to be difficult. The Calvin cycle is essentially what it's doing is it's taking in the carbon dioxide, it's using the ATP and NADPH to reduce the power from the ATP and NADPH are going to be the reducing power to take this carbon dioxide and reduce it into a sugar. You can't do it without ATP and NADPH, and I'll explain that really today and the next class as well. What it looks like is this. This isn't a model, and you're about to use this model, so do pay attention. This is going to be really important. I'm going to walk you through this. So here's light. Light is coming through, obviously, the leaf, through the cuticle of the leaf, they're getting through the cell, and then finally we're in the chloroplast. This is an organelle within the cell. It goes through those double membrane and then strikes the grana. And again, we're going to look at this in detail next class. This is just a very basic view of it now. I'm going to take the water, goes into this reaction along with the light. You got to pay attention to the direction of the arrows. So this is the reaction center. Arrows going in are my reactants. I've got 4: light, water, NADP+. So this is currently oxidized, ADP, currently oxidized. The light is going to reduce it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split that water. When I split the water, oxygen is coming off of this. The hydrogen is now donated to NADPH. Look where it's now NADPH. It was NADP+. Remember, this has a positive charge. Positive charge are oxidized. We want negative charges. That's where the energy is. So now it's negative. It's got that hydrogen with those extra electrons on it, and ATP has picked up electrons as well and bonded this phosphorus to this ATP, ADP to ATP. So now I have 3 products coming out: oxygen, NADPH, and ATP. I have 4 reactants going in: ADP, NADP+, water, and light. And I have 3 products coming out. That goes to the Calvin cycle. These are currently reduced. These have got a lot of power. That's why this looks like a lightning strike or maybe an explosion. A little symbol around ATP, and NADPH is colored along with this hydrogen. It's carrying the energy, carrying these electrons, carrying this into the Calvin cycle. CO2 needs these electrons to pick up those hydrogens. So NADPH is going to drop off that hydrogen for this carbon dioxide and create sugars. There's this hydrogen here. The hydrogen first was put in the water. It got donated to NADPH or NADP+, given to NADPH+ to make NADPH, and then it gets dropped off over here for the sugar. This is what you eat. You can see it's a little more simple. I got 3 products going, or 3 reactants going in: CO2, ATP, NADPH, and I've got 1 product coming out. Omo, do you need something?
I'm not asking about the
Okay, just try to kind of tap it down a bit. I'm trying to hear you. Okay, 1 product coming out, 3 reactants coming in. All right, I am done. Nobody told me to shut up. So did I get through with that too soon?
I think you still have like 3 minutes.
Okay, well, do you have any questions before? I've got 3 minutes to take questions before I give you guys a guided practice. Please ask. There's a lot. I just dropped a bunch of information on you. Don't be scared to ask. This was the scariest thing I ever heard whenever I was an undergrad.
I have a question.
Good, thank you.
What's the reduce process for photosynthesis?
The reduction process. So
Yes.
so the reduction process, there's a lot of them. So I would say overall, the Calvin cycle is the reductive side. If I had to really classify it as a reduction oxidation side, I would consider this to the Calvin cycle to be the reductive side, and the oxidative side to be the light dependent reactions or the light reactions. The reason I would say that is because I am taking water and I'm breaking it, and that's oxidizing. I am reducing something. Anytime you oxidize something, you're going to be reducing something else. So if I eat my food, I am oxidizing my food, but I'm reducing my own body to keep myself fighting equilibrium. Well, I am going to take these molecules that have here is NADP plus and ADP. They're currently at this point oxidized, but when they go into this reaction, they get reduced. So I'm oxidizing water, and I'm reducing these 2 molecules, NADP plus and ADP, and I'm going to reduce those into these molecules, ATP, which does carry power, NADPH, which does carry power. That is overall, but overall, I would still consider this the more oxidative side because I'm taking water and I'm breaking it down into oxygen and stripping off the hydrogen and the electrons to give to CO2. CO2 is definitely going to be more the reductive side. I've got carbon going in. You can see it's just 3 little atoms. and it comes out, not in, when I say 3 little atoms, 1 carbon, 2 oxygens, when it comes out, it's highly organized into sugar. It's really C6H12O6, but this is being simplified into that 1-to-1 ratio. So this is the reductive side, this is the oxidative side. I still got time for questions. Okay, so the question is, do all cells have chloroplast or just the ones in the leaves? Just the ones in the leaves, unless you're a cactus, because cacti do not have leaves typically. Their branches have chloroplast. That's why the whole, the whole plant is green. But like if the bark doesn't have, chloroplast, the roots won't have chloroplast. There's no point. You're not going to have chloroplast in your roots because there's no light underground, right? So it's typically, yes, only in the leaves. Lots of other questions. So why were you never taught about the extra 2 or 6 waters? Probably because nobody wanted to confuse you. Because they usually teach it as a balanced equation, and it is a balanced equation, but they don't talk about the water just being released into the atmosphere. I don't know why they don't. Maybe they assume that ninth graders are stupid. That may be why they don't teach it in the 9th grade. Okay, if there's no other questions, I'm going to drop your guided practice. If you can go to Schoology, I'm going to show you where I'm pulling this document. And then if you can't get to Schoology, I'm going to drop it in the chat. So bear with me for just a sec. Go to Schoology. Oh, and by the way, I saw many of you guys had already opened this up today and started working on it. So congrats to you, but you may want to make some changes. Some of you guys are working ahead, and that's really nice. I'm proud of you for doing that. It's this document reactant and product map. So we're going to be using those. So like Jacob, he's already opened his and started working on it. I'm going to open his so that you can see it, and then I'm going to drop a link to this. Let me drop a link to this in the chat. Everybody's going to get a copy of this. So if you cannot get into Schoology, there's going to be an upside to this and a downside. Everybody will have their own copy, but if they have their own, everybody's going to have their own copy of this. But the problem with everybody having this copy is that, I say their own copy, excuse me, not everybody's going to have their own copy. If you work off of this link that I just sent you, that's only use that if you cannot get into Schoology. If you cannot get into Schoology, it's the only time to use it. Otherwise, open your own. And what you're going to do, and so I'll open it, I'll show you this document, is I've got a concept map for you. I want you to be able to know where these particular molecules go. So I've got my light reactions, my dark reactions, also known as a Calvin cycle, and there's these numbers, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's your word bank for this particular map. You're going to take the number, whatever the number is. So like, let's say number 1. Number 1 is what? What is that? Somebody just chime in and help me out. What goes into the light reactions? Light is already there.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, shoot. Thank you. Who was that who was saying that? It was who? Thank you, Kate. Woo! Okay, so you can see it now, baby? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so I've got light, and here's my light reaction. So light is already taken up. So what goes into this reaction? What else goes into this? What else goes into the light reactions? Light goes in, what else goes in?
H2O.
That's right. So that's going to be the water. So you would come over here next to the water and you would put a 1. And you might make it bold too so I can see it. Make it bold. Make it bold. And then you have to do that for all the others. Then you're going to come down here, you're doing the same thing again, except now you're looking at the different structures. So at what is, you have a couple extra terms. So there's F and G. You can always come back up here and figure out what F and G are. But I want you to get pretty solid on these. We're going to do this for 2 days. This is not something you're going to memorize in 1 day unless you really drill down. So I'm going to go over this for 2 days. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to take these terms, these purpose and functions, and drop them into these boxes. So chloroplast, ADP, ATP. And these are this is what I type. You're not going to go take this and say, oh, let me just copy and paste this and put it into the internet and find out what the answer is. This is what I wrote myself. So you're going to put those in this location. And you're going to have 20 minutes to do this, 20 minutes to do this. Those are all working off the same document. I mean, what can you do? If it were me, I would want to pull up my own. You could make a copy of this copy for your own purposes and use that. But the link that I put into PowerSchool, you can use that. I mean, not in the PowerSchool, excuse me, into this chat. You can use that to access this document I'm currently showing you. Like right now I see Gavin and Caleb are in here with me. But you guys that are can collectively use this one together. I'm going to break you into breakout groups, and you guys can get this done. You're only going to have, let's see, I can let you guys have 18 minutes. That's it, 18 minutes. I'm a little off on time. So I'm going to open breakout rooms. I'm going to keep them kind of small. And this is going to suck. You guys may be changing each other's answers. I'm sorry that you're working. Again, make your own copy. Make your own copy. Get this, and then somebody share their screen when they get in there. Share their screen and work off one collectively, but everybody have their own copy. So if you are using this, make a copy for your own files and use that so that you're not correcting each other, but work together. Okie doke. You got 5 breakout rooms. Go for it. You got 18 minutes. She's in my class right now, dude. She's got her own thing to do. Hello, beautiful people. Uh-oh. Am I not in the right place? Where is everybody?
Hello.
Well, crud. You did go to a breakout room, correct?
Yes, we're in a breakout room right now.
Oh, who's sharing the screen?
I can't access Schoology.
No, okay, yeah, but I'm asking you to share your screen.
I can share mine.
All right, roger that. You really need to share this document and work through this as best you can. You don't want that one. Oh, nice. Who is this sharing the screen?
You're talking about, Kate's sharing her screen right now.
Kate. Yeah, great. All right, Roger. So open that document and get it on it. There you go. I would actually open the document, Kate, completely. So there's an expansion button, and you can use that expansion button. All right. I'm going to jump to another room.
We have, what is this? This would be 3 would be NADP plus, because then it turns into NADP H.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Monis? Is NADP plus oxidized or reduced?
It's oxidized because
Yeah, it's oxidized. Positive. Yeah, it's positive, and it's going to be reduced. What does it pick up to be reduced?
A hydrogen molecule.
And what are those hydrogens carrying? What?
I'm not sure.
What's the negative part of an atom that gives it all its power?
An electron?
Yep, there you go. All right, you guys are well on your way. I'm gonna leave you guys be. I'm gonna go to another group.
That one has a substrate before it. It's annoying.
Yeah, no, it's annoying. Okay. 4 there.
Hello, beautiful people.
Oh,
Are you sharing this with other people?
yes.
All right, I'll come back when you guys are working. I'm gonna go in another group. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
Whose document is this?
It's mine, Gavin Lopez.
Gavin Lopez. So let me see what you got. You got 1. I got O2. What do you have O2 labeled as?
2.
Okay. And
That's
then NADPH is 4. And NADP plus is what?
3.
Trace. Okay, dig it. Okay, let me add, who'd you said 3? Was that Turner?
Diana.
Diana Santos. Okay, so NADP plus, is it oxidized or reduced?
Reduced.
What makes you say that?
Because it's positive.
Reduced, reduction is gain. Reduction means that your charge is low. If your charge is low, would you have a positive symbol there? If you have a positive symbol, that means you have more protons than electrons. If you're reduced, you have more electrons than protons. So NADP plus, is it oxidized or reduced?
Oxidized.
It is oxidized. There you go. All right. It takes some time, man. Take some time. You guys are going to have to meet, talk, and visit about these things. All right. I'm going to jump to another group. You guys are currently on your way. This is over here, I think. Where is Turner? Is Turner?
is 5.
Was Turner in here before? Oh. Poor Turner. She needs to get in there. Hello, beautiful people. Who's sharing their screen in here? What's up with this group? Nobody's sharing the screen.
I didn't even realize you were in breakout rooms. I was already working on the document.
Well, then it means that you are. You're in breakout rooms, guys. Don't be insular. Don't be insular. Somebody share the screen so we can see. I can check on you guys.
There we go.
Okay, so let's see what we got. Can you scroll up on and check the top one first? And I don't know if everybody has the same thing, man. Oh, okay, I've got water going in at 1, oxygen coming out at 2, NADPH is coming out at 4, NADP plus is 3. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So NADP plus is 3. Is that oxidized or reduced? And let me ask somebody in particular. Oxidized or reduced? Actually, I'm gonna let you guys talk about it. I'm gonna take these earbuds off so I can't hear your answers. And then I'm gonna ask one of you guys. NADP plus, is it oxidized or reduced?
NADP plus is the oxidized form, if I remember correctly, because when you add the hydrogen, it becomes NADPH and it's reduced.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's
Okay, I'm back, yo. Okay, Mosadi. I'm gonna go to Mosadi. Mosadi, is NADP plus reduced or oxidized? Mosadi.
I'm not sure, but I think it's reduced.
Okay, what makes you think it's reduced? Stick with me. What makes you think it's reduced?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, so you're just having in it. You just got a 50-50 chance. All right, let me go through
Yeah.
reduction. Reduction is gain, oxidation is loss. Reduction means that you have more electrons. So our last lesson, we were talking about the difference between reduction and oxidation. You have more electrons. If you have more electrons, you're more organized because you can form more bonds. That's where the bonds are formed between molecules. Now, if I had to compare NADPH and NADP plus, I see that I have hydrogens in NADPH. So I must have more bonds. That's one clue. NADP plus doesn't have hydrogens, or at least not those hydrogens that are there at the very end of this little, this written out formula for it. It's not a perfect form, necessary formula, but the identification of this molecule. It also has a positive symbol. Remember, protons have a positive charge, electrons have a negative charge. So if you have a positive symbol there, that means you don't have as many electrons as you do protons. So that should be some clues for you. Is it reduced or oxidized based on those two little pieces of information? What do you think now, Masadi?
Could you repeat the question?
Is NADP plus oxidized or reduced? And I gave you two indicators as to how you would know. Reduction, you're not going to have a positive sign. And in reduction, you'll tend to have more, you'll have more matter, more mass. And I see that NADPH has hydrogens attached at the end. It's NADPH. And those hydrogens can carry 2 electrons. They have their valence is 2 electrons. What about NADP plus? You don't have those electrons and you have the positive charge. Therefore, NADPH has to be either oxidized or reduced. What do you think?
Oxidized.
Yeah, oxidized. All right, I'm jumping to another group. I'll come back and see how you guys are doing.
Okay, let's work through this together.
All right, I'm back, kids. So how are we doing over here now, yo?
We're on the purpose and function part.
Your screen, when you share your screen, it sure is narrow. Can you scroll up so I can see what A is?
Sorry.
You are, man, Ashby, you talk about being sorry. You know, you should be, okay, there we go. You guys are awesome. I love y'all. All right, you looks like you're rocking and rolling.
Okay.
Hold on a second for Jay. Where's Jay? Oh yeah, Jay. Okay, there it is. I was like, what? Core class. Yeah, there it is. It took forever for me to make this thing for you guys. This document. All right, I guess I'm stifling you. I'll just jump into the group. Here we go. Holy smoke. You guys are working on that last part now. Yeah, that last part's tough. Hey, can I see what the one you got? Accept electrons, held with iron to produce CO2. It's currently oxidized. Nice. All right. Love y'all. Keep going.
Oh, so we got it right?
Yeah, so far. See, I love it. it took forever for me to create, man. I mean, usually I didn't think it's something completely different in class. I was thinking, how can I adapt this to an online environment? It took forever. Sucks. Okay. This is group. Which group is this?
I think the
This
second
is-
one. This one? This one right here.
Holy smoke. What are you guys up to? Are y'all going back to the PowerPoint to try to figure out a part?
Yes.
Which part are you trying to figure out?
I think right now we're starting to work on the structure and function category.
Okay. There's two different models, a second or first model? Which model? Or you mean where you're labeling all the different, are you talking about where you took my kind of quasi definitions and you're trying to match those?
Yes.
Oh, have you got any of them done yet?
We got the first two diagrams done, I believe. Well, we're still working on the second one, so.
Okey-doke. You want
And
any
it's
help?
kind of hard to maneuver around this dock
Is it?
a little bit. Or at least it kind of I'm trying to like just we're all trying to just like match like the letter and then just putting it next to that vocab word. But yeah, it's moving around a little bit.
Moving
But
around. I tell you, I just came from another group, and what they did is they just took, they just made a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they just put the word next to it.
oh, okay.
And that made a lot more sense. Yeah, and I'm should have thought of that, but I was trying to compress everything into two pages. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna jump to another group. You guys have about, let's see, continue to work together, about 2.5 minutes. Do as much as you can. People, have y'all got any of these purpose and functions done yet?
We've gotten one so far.
Chloroplast, accepts electrons held with. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm sorry.
I don't know about that. Chloroplast, I don't like that for chloroplast. It's no bueno. Just heads up.
Mr. Pope.
Say.
For photons, is it creates concentration gradients by enclosing subcomponents and enzymes to
No
produce
way.
No.
What is a photon?
Is it not like for light?
Is it the bring energy one?
Yeah, probably. Let's see. Go down to where it says bring energy. Yes, sir. That is it. Photon brings energy. That's right. Excellent. All right. You have 1 more minute. You probably won't finish, but that's okay. And then I'm going to close the room in 1 minute and then stay 1 additional minute. Wait till it forces you out. Wait till it forces you out. Turner keeps getting stuck. Turner, are you in here with me? Poor kid. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to take it anymore. Miriam Yang is back with me. Miriam Yang. How you doing, Miriam?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I can't cry. Diego, we haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
I've been struggling with the computer.
God bless. I am sorry.
I was actually gonna ask Miss Rosamond tomorrow if I could come in to trade the computer for another one.
Shoot you, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Don't ask. Tell her you're coming up here.
All right.
See, I'm coming up here to get another computer. This is terrible. All right, so let's see. Let me get back to my screen. Let's see. All right, I do not know how many people can do this right now, but I do have an exit ticket here for you guys today. It is called Photo Exit Ticket. Now remember, exit tickets are how I take attendance. So those of you guys who bounce and don't take exit tickets, that's a problem. I will not take attendance from it today. I've already taken attendance. But this is for a grade, but it's a scholarly habit grade. You get one every class period, unless you have a quiz. It is not one that you can retake. It's just a photo exit ticket. If you don't take them in class, I put new ones up here. So sometimes you guys last class were like, what? There's another exit ticket? That's because some people didn't take the exit ticket last class, and I put a different one because I don't want people taking pictures of answers and then sharing them, because that just sucks and nobody gets anywhere. Everybody just stays in the same place. So if you don't take it right now, that's fine. You'll have to take it later today, but it's going to be a different exit ticket, okay? It won't be the same one. So go ahead and take it if you can. If not, take it by this evening. And then you're going to have a quiz at the end of the next class. That is a formative. That's different. That's going to be actual formative. So you want to study what we did the last two class periods. I'll be quiet, let you guys take the exit ticket, and then you guys can bounce when you're done.
It says the exit ticket is not currently accepting submissions.
Oh, let me change that if that's true. Thank you. It is changed. Refresh it, and it should allow it now. Oh. Yeah, I know some of you guys are saying you can't get into schools you right now. It's all right. Later on today, you should be able to. I'm going to send you a link also in the chat that might let you get into it later. This has been working for some people. I'll type it into the chat. Be able to use it now for your other classes. And I am sorry that this is the way it is. It's working for some students. All right, it was working. That link is working. Yes, yes, me gusta, me gusta. Oh, shoot, I sent it to one person. That's right. Oh, man. I'm going to send you another link. It's the one that you already have, kiddo. This link. And love cowboys. All right, Kate, be good. Cowboys suck. But what can I do? Bye-bye, babies. I say lots of you guys saying bye.
Bye, Mr. Pope.
Bye, baby. God, he's scared me to death.
Bye, Miss Pope.
All right, Brandon, y'all be good.